A critical question remains unanswered. Are the country's young engineers truly being prepared for the future? Every year, universities produce thousands of engineering graduates, yet many leave school uncertain about their career path, struggling to transition from the classroom into industry. Concerns are already growing over the gap between academic training and the rapidly changing demands of the global workforce, with experts warning that without stronger mentorship, innovation support and practical exposure, Ghana risks losing a generation of talented engineers. To analyze this, I've been joined in the studio by members of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, the Youth Engineering Branch. Benedict Atapoku is the chairman of the Youth in Engineering from the Ghana Institution of Engineering. Crystal Owusua Amwa Bamfo is the secretary of the Youth Engineering as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. Usually I start with the ladies, but this time around I want to start with the gentlemen. Often you hear a lot of people telling you the courses that they do. I did so and so in engineering, so and so in engineering. They come back, they are completely lost in the job market. How do they find their feet right after coming through years of training in school?
So usually there's a bit of a mismatch between the expectations of young engineering graduates and also what the industry is actually looking at. So there has to be a fine balance between the two, between what the young graduates are looking at and then also what the industry is expecting. There's been a shift in the labor market, what the kind of skills that the labor market is requiring now in the years to come is not exactly what young graduates are also being trained for and with currently. So there's a bit of a gap over there. So what needs to happen right now is more of mentorship, more of internship, more of industrial placement to ensure that the young graduate that is about to finish school has some idea about what is expected in industry so that they have employable skills as soon as they're done with school to be able to fit into the job market.
Usually the question that people ask is, you have people calling themselves engineers in the country. They'll be taking a road trip from Suhum to Insawem or wherever. Their cars break down in the middle of the road. They have no idea of where to go, where to look, how to fix it. Do you think there's an issue with the kind of courses that are taught engineers in school? They focus more on the practicals focus more on the theory, more than the practicals, or you think that it is as a result of the students themselves who do not incorporate themselves into the courses? That is why they struggle when they finish school.
No, so there are four classes of engineering practitioners. There's the professional engineer, there's the professional engineering technologist, there are engineering technicians, and there are artisans. 4 classes. And each of the classes, each of the professionals, they have specific roles, right? The professional engineering or the professional engineers are heavy on theory because engineering is not just about the practical aspect, but it's about imbibing the theory. Engineering thrives on principles, scientific principles that have been tested and tried for many, many years. So the theory is as important as the practicals. But where I believe where your question is coming from is finding the right balance between the practicals and the theory. And that is where there has to be more collaboration between the universities and industry so that we can have a system where young engineering practitioners or students can have automatic placement into industries so that they can learn the practicals, right? Because engineering is not only about, we in this generation are exposed to a lot of information, but engineering is not all about the acquisition of information, but it's also being able to make the right call. Okay, so it's very important that there's this kind of a relationship, a marriage between the industry and then the universities, so that we can have more of our young people learn and get the practicals, do more apprenticeship and get the practicals so they can make good engineering judgment when they begin to work.
And why do you think young people tend to lose interest in engineering the moment they graduate from school?
Yeah, there's more supply of engineers or engineering graduates in the market than the market is actually able to absorb. So the surplus, the people that are in that subset, usually become demotivated. And I think that our training should be tilted more towards training engineering graduates who are going to have a deployment mindset rather than an employment mindset. If you finish school and your mindset is about being deployed, looking inwardly and seeing what you can do and do well and trying to do something on your own, it reduces the burden, it reduces the problem, it reduces the situation that we have. If everybody's going to finish school and think that somebody elsewhere has to employ them, then that's what creates the problem. And also the fact that you did engineering doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be employed by an engineering company. Engineers, they are multi-skilled, multi-talented. The fundamentals that you acquire from an engineering training puts you in a position to be able to work anywhere, work even in the media, work in the bank, work. So the fact that you did engineering doesn't necessarily mean that you have to look for an engineering company and work as an engineer. But the training that you receive as an engineering graduate puts you in a position to be able to work anywhere and do very well.
I think that's something that most of them do not realize, because that's true. We have engineers working here at our facilities who make sure that our machines are up and running all the time.
Yes.
Crystal, let me come to you. Do you think Ghana is doing enough to equip our young engineers to take over?
Well, I wouldn't say enough. I think Ghana is obviously doing something, but we need to invest more in research and development. If you look at all the advanced countries, China, Singapore, Malaysia, US, these are countries that have invested heavily, a greater proportion of their GDP in research and development. They have labs, they have prototyping labs that they can test ideas and make sure that those ideas materialize, implement them. So they have those kind of systems. A country that doesn't invest so much, a very good proportion of its GDP in research and innovation would not be able to catch up, would not be able to see their young engineers becoming more innovative, because innovation requires some kind of capital investment most of the time to be able to bring into fruition what it is that you have thought about. So the country needs to do more. There are countries that invest more than 4% of their GDP in research and development. Most of the African countries are doing less than 1%, which is woefully inadequate. So there's an inverse relationship, between where we want to get to and how much we are putting into research.
What are today's young engineers missing that the previous generation of engineers had?
The previous generation, they had more of the apprenticeship, skills. In those days, the demand was, it was almost like it is, but there wasn't a lot of unemployment at the time, because the population wasn't as it is today. So they had a lot of opportunities to do more internship and all that. So they had the internship, industrial placement. They had more of the apprenticeship, skills. So they had more of a very good engineering judgment, in the way they do things, which is not really the same now. Obviously, there's a situation where you have thousands of engineering students and you have very few companies. So that's one thing. That's a big difference between the older generation and then this new generation.
Crystal, a fresh graduate from any of the engineering courses, what should they do?
They should learn more about AI tools. They should be more adaptable with digital tools. We must understand that the pace at which there's disruption in technological advancement is actually outpacing the evolution of our engineering curriculum. So if you get stuck to your engineering fundamentals, you're going to be in a position where you're not going to find a space in the labor market, because skills are transitioning. So young engineers must learn more about how to use automated systems, AI tools, and be friendly with digital tools.
Ghana Institution of Engineering is a very big organization, very big, full of brilliant men and women like yourselves. Let's talk about mentorship. If somebody wants mentorship under the umbrella of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, what do they do?
So, this is a very good question. Currently, under the Youth of Engineering, Youth in Engineering, we are doing a program, we are doing a mentorship program, where all young engineers have been assigned, those who have expressed interest and wanting to be mentored. They have been assigned to some individuals who have also expressed their interest to mentor people. And we've started a program. Very soon we're going to launch it. And we are going to ensure that that program works. So the first thing is that people must belong. If you are outside the engineering fraternity, you must belong to the Ghana Institution of Engineering. It's the mother association of engineering practitioners in Ghana. Once you belong, it's very, very easy.
Thank you very much for coming into the studio. Chriselle Owusua Amwa Bamfo is the Secretary of the Youth in Engineering of the Ghana Institution of Engineer. Benedict Atapuku is also an engineer. He is the Chairman of the Youth in Engineering with the Ghana Institution of Engineering.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.